Mr. Cropper, thanks you to join us on this Q&A.
Absolutely, glad to do it.
Yeah, the band Madman is just played with Brave Rival from the UK and Colossal Street Jam, the Billy Walter Band, and Kenny Dutman is in this show as a live act. We had the Temptations before you guys as well, and actually you're the one who has 3 complete shots in here in this stream. So you're our main guest. That is so awesome. We're thrilled to have you on board.
Well, I wish I could still play like that.
You still can.
I try now. I try to. No, I was sure about it.
We just say, play it, Steve, and it comes, you know?
It comes, it just happens.
Yeah, let's do it. I want to introduce you to Carly. Carly is, is working for us with active music management, and she is a journalist as well. And she prepared a lot of questions. I sent her the questions that we got from the audience. Okay. Quite interesting questions, Mr.
Yeah,
Carly.
very interesting.
I can't wait.
Yeah, so I want to say, we start the show, and let's kick off, Carly.
I try to keep my answers as short as I can.
All right. So it's a pleasure meeting you.
It's my pleasure.
It's great to do this with you. I have some very interesting questions. I'm going to start off with a very detailed one. Let's see if you remember this incident. But somebody wants to know that if you remember being on a square in Aachen, playing a show, and someone came up to you and shook your hand, and then they ran away screaming, "No one touches the hand," because this one touched Steve Cropper.
Oh, wow. I don't remember that. I'm sorry.
I was there, actually. This is the first time we met, Steve.
Who was it?
It wasn't, I think it was in 2009 or something, 2008. We were there.
I didn't reach your hand out, I didn't kiss it? Give me a break here.
Exactly, but Joost Janse, he was actually the guy who made this question. He's a friend of mine. He's a bass player.
I've never kissed a guy's hand, I don't think.
He's a bass player, but he was screaming around, "No one touches this hand." So this was quite funny. Yeah, so yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one to start with, Carl. Thank you for that.
Okay. Do you have any other memorable moments, maybe from a fan?
From a lot of fans, but it always intrigues me, and I'm confused about it, that a fan will come up to get my autograph and they're shaking so bad they drop the pencil or pen. That I just don't go, what? Not even important. What are you talking about? But they do. They get real nervous about it. Maybe they do that with everybody. I'm sure they do. Not to me, so.
It's pretty funny.
That's what it is.
Someone wants to know what you use as inspiration for writing your songs, or what, if in the past or even now, if you're still writing.
Some things do hit me, but I just tell everybody, and it's pretty true, I'm a channeler, and I just wait for it to fall out of the ceiling or somewhere, and it just falls in my head, and there you go, and I write it. And if I don't have time to write it musically and finish it, I'll write it down and put it in my desk drawer. So I have hundreds of thoughts and titles and all that in my drawer, and I always pick from them if I'm going through a writing session. So, you know, you sit there and you try to think of something, you can't really think of anything, and you go, okay, pull the drawer out and check this out. This will work, this will work, this will work. That happens a lot.
Yeah. Are you working on anything new? People are wondering if you are writing.
I am, and the truth about it is very simple. Everybody was in this lockdown, I think, worldwide. We were here too. So a buddy of mine who worked on the last album with me, we had some extra tracks during the Felix Cavalieri days. And he said, nah, I can't think of anything for that one. So we had these tracks waiting for a singer. Some of them are about 5 years old or whatever, or older. And so we thought now would be a good time to get some of those done. So we had a guy that John knew named Roger Real, and that is going to be a big name. And we just sent him some tracks, and he sang some of the lyrics and the melodies and all to the tracks on his phone. So it turned out pretty good. And so we're, I've got Eddie Gore, my buddy and partner in the studio and everything. And he did the best job he could do, and I'm telling you, the stuff sounds really good. So we're looking forward to that.
Great.
I don't know when it'll be out.
I think a lot of people will be excited to hear that.
Yes, but it's got, some of it's got some old licks. I'm not sure it's real viable for today's market, but we'll find out.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know till you put it out.
Yeah. I know
Like
that.
Al Jackson, our drummer, used to say, they're all hits until they're released.
That's
And he's
true.
right about that.
We had a question actually about that, Carly. What I remember. That
Yeah. Someone wants to know, is there an artist or a song that you've ever written or recorded that you thought was going to be a big hit and it didn't, or vice like the other way around? Did you ever record something that you thought was going to be a flop and it ended up being number one?
Let me tell you the facts on this. Every song recorded at Stax got treated the same way. So we didn't know which was going to hit and what didn't. So things that did hit that people will remember, like In the Midnight Hour, Knock on Wood, or Soul Man, or whatever, they were all treated the same. We didn't know they were going to be hits, so after the fact. And during, back in the day, you'd say, in the late 60s or whenever, fans would run up and say, can you play that lick you played on so-and-so? And I said, I don't know. If you play me the record, maybe I can remember it. But I played on hundreds of songs since then. And fans really don't realize your workload. So sometimes you play on 5 or 6 songs a day. You just, reading chord changes or whatever you do, and it happens a lot.
Yeah.
And then the album comes out and some disc jockey plays it and a fan hears it, says, play that again and again and again. And that's what drives the charts up.
And the times are different, I guess, Steve, if I'm correct. It's like in the
Well,
early
I
days,
don't know.
they just buy.
I still write the same as I always did, but I don't think there's a market for it now. I mean, at least I haven't proven it. There are different markets for different things. So I said to myself a few months ago, and Eddie will back me up on this, I said, well, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
So I just came off, not just came off, about a few months ago, had a #1 hit on bluegrass on the bluegrass channel.
That's cool.
Oh, anything to help you say goodbye. Nobody cares that I co-wrote that. They don't care about that. So I think a lot of songs are not really written today to stay. They stay in my head, but they don't always stay in the fans' head because they have too much to choose from.
Yeah, but that's true. That's true.
And that's a good thing. It could be a bad thing, but it's a good thing too.
Yeah.
In the days in the 60s and all, when I was writing a lot of hits, they didn't have that much to compare it to. They'd hear something, they want to hear it over and over, and they'd play it for a year or whatever. And I still today know a lot of artists that live off a one-hit record.
True.
So Roland still knows that. He can still book them and still pull in the fans to hear them do that one song.
Yeah.
So I have to remind them every now and then, these people paid good money to hear you sing your hit. They didn't pay good money to hear you do your last album that hadn't hit yet.
Yeah, but
so that makes me an unlikable guy sometimes because I tell them the truth. They don't want to hear that.
But the truth should be out there.
Well, it's always out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think in an email, John Tiven and I agreed that in this new project, we really don't have to make stuff up or even over embellish it. We just tell it like it is. And I just told you that some of these tracks are 5 and 6 years old. So some of those licks are.
Yeah, but when music is good.
So I'll have to relearn all that too because I did it so long ago. I've done hundreds and hundreds of concerts since then. So
yeah. Yeah, I have seen you in between because I think the last time that I saw you was in Mainz in Germany. I think that's 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and that there was a small kid who was doing the Blues Brother. Yeah, it could be actually because I played so many gigs as well in between.
Today, in my day, 2 weeks was 2 years. Nowadays, it's 2 seconds. It's over.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, but I think that music never gets old when it's good.
It is, and it depends on who you're playing for, I think. I just came off a tour with Dave Mason, who's also a great writer, great player, one of the best players I've ever worked with. He's a great singer, too. I didn't know he was that good of a singer. I did go down to hear him before I went on tour with him. And I said, he wrote that, He's great. So I took a tour with him that was going to take about 3 months. It took 2 years to get it done. Because we had to do some makeup gigs last November.
Oh, cool.
We had to cancel a few shows for different reasons and had to do some makeup stuff, so we did.